Welcome back to Jack in the House. A lot of the clients will ask me about how do you invest into a right investment property. And currently I'm working on an investment project. Today I'm going to be showing you how do you find the right investment property, how do you run the numbers, and I'm going to be showing you some examples on the street. Let's go! So the first step when you're looking for an investment property, you gotta make a decision whether you wanna buy it to hold the property or you wanna buy it to flip the property. And once you make that decision, the next thing is to decide your budget. So if you're getting a loan, it's very important that you get pre-qualified first. That way you know your budget, and then once you know your budget, then you know which area is the best area for you to invest in. I'm gonna be showing you one example of what we did in our previous project. I helped my client to purchase a property at $420,000, and the property could be rented out at $2,500. After doing the calculation, we're gonna be able to generate $115 cash flow after all fees and HOA fees. So that was one good example of a buy and hold property. Because a lot of people think that we cannot find a cash flow property in California, but actually there's still plenty of opportunity that's out there. That's why we're gonna be showing you some live example on the street. My intention with my project is to find a properties to hold. Actually, my goal is to get 5 more properties in the next 5 years. So right now we're trying to identify properties in my target location. Ideally 3-bedroom, 2-bath. My budget for this property is about $450,000 to $500,000. For this property, you can see that there is blue tar on the roof. So what that means is that there could be some leaking issue at this property. So for this home, it's worth around $360,000 to $380,000. And we probably have to put in $70,000 to $80,000 to repair this home. The total cost is about $420,000 to $430,000. After repair value, it's a little over $500,000. For this property, it's a good example for a flip property where I can buy it, remodel it, and sell it. So that way I can make a profit and then accumulate that cash and I can use that money to buy some property for myself to hold. So we just found this property when we were driving by the neighborhood. And this property is not on our search list. The reason why we stopped by at this property is because that we see that it's got a really large front yard and the property is very small. So there's a potential that we can build more units on this property or even add an ADU on the property. We're gonna do more research on this home and we're gonna reach out to the owner to see if they're interested in selling this property so that we can make a win-win for the seller and also for the buyer. So as we're driving, we saw this property that's currently being remodeled and I decided to stop by and then go down and go talk to the owner. Number one, I'm stopping by to see if they are looking to sell their property. And number two, I'm there to see whether or not they are looking to buy more property. And number three, I'm simply there just to meet the owner to find out what their long-term goals are. So that way I can see if I can provide any value for them in the long run. The tip is, if you ever see a property that's being remodeled, stop by and get to meet the owner to see if you can help them in the future. So we're able to show you some example of some properties and run some number, and hopefully you are able to learn something from today's episode. Regardless of which technique you're gonna use, whether it's flipping or buying and holding, it's always very important to have your end goal in mind. For example, if your goal is to have $10,000 in passive income when you retire, then you gotta think of a couple vehicles as to how you're gonna achieve that goal. For example, if the properties where you wanna invest in, the average rent is $2,500. So what that means is that you gotta acquire 4 properties and get them paid off before you retire. I encourage everyone to figure out your number, how many property you want to own before you retire, so that way you don't have to work forever until you die. If you like this episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye bye!